Welcome to Sips with the Suriel. I'm Jenna.
I'm Danielle.
And I'm Dina.
We're just three best friends who like to get together and talk books. We would love for you to follow along each week, just like a book club. We'll tell you the week before what book we will be discussing so you can make sure you've read it. If you check out our Instagram, each of us likes to make art, so we will post our art interpretations for each book. And what are we discussing today, Dina?
Today we're discussing Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros. I don't know if I ever say her name right. Is it Yarros?
I think it is Yarros.
Probably Yarros.
Okay. We'll go with Yarros.
Yarros.
But as always, if you haven't read it yet, please pause, go read, because just like the cereal, we're spilling the tea. And speaking of tea, what are we sipping on today?
We are sipping on Xaden's Shadow, which turned out red.
I'm very disappointed. My practice run on Saturday was much
super dark.
Wait,
I know.
Did I get a picture of your practice?
Yeah, she sent it to us.
Yes.
I was that Saturday night.
Yeah, you were.
I feel like you were occupied.
You were.
Girl, I was like 5 tequilas in. And
Saturday you were living it up.
I was living it up.
We're bringing that back.
We're bringing it back around. I'm going through my text messages now.
It's so far. Like, just go to the pictures.
Whoopsies.
Yeah,
but it looked delicious. Because didn't you use?
Oh shit, that looks really good. And you even did a picture with it. Wow,
yeah.
I was not.
I was like, let me get ahead of, and I was like, shoot, I should have garnished it with a blackberry, and I didn't. So it's supposed to be darker, and I think I didn't use enough blackberries, and why it came out so red, because it has Chambord, which is already like a red raspberry color, and then it has vodka and simple syrup and some lime juice, and then you muddle the raspberries, the blackberries, which it actually is very tasty.
Muddle.
And I have now saved that picture so I can post it to our Instagram.
Yes.
You nuts.
And recipe coming soon.
Good job, Dina. Good job. The picture looks great.
And to our own personal bartender, Bob.
Yes. He did help tweak. I got
Dina
the base idea, and then he tweaked the recipe for us.
There you go. He's a good tweaker.
Yeah. No cheap stuff up in here.
Isn't a tweaker like a junkie?
When you're tweaking?
Yeah. Like
when you're tweaking, it's like you're on drugs, right?
Yeah. He's a good tweaker, is what you just said.
And twerker.
Oh,
tweaking and twerking.
Bob, get him in here. Let's see him twerking.
Tweaking and twerking. If I texted him right now, are you tweaking and twerking?
He's gonna be like
crack.
What are you guys even recording?
He's
what
like,
is going to be
cut
on there?
Dina off.
He's gonna like, please stop talking about me on the podcast.
He's going to say, cut that.
Yeah.
Oh gosh. All right, Danielle, you're up, baby.
Okay, guys. So this is fresh for me because I just finished. So how long did it take me? So I did the audio of this, which I highly recommend because it had because it had multiple characters. It was so sexy. And so I started Christmas break, and then I finished a while ago, a couple weeks ago, because then I powered through Iron Flame. So anyway,
yes.
All right. So fresh.
And now you're ready with. So you don't have all these questions like I do when I was reading the beginning part of Onyx Storm.
Yeah.
Right. Everything's fresh in your mind.
But then I opened Onyx Storm and it had all the characters in the front, which was nice, and they paired everybody off. So that was
helpful. Yeah.
Anyways.
Yeah, we don't want to talk about that one
guide that you sent me, Dina, that little guide.
It was good.
Spoiler-free guide was very helpful because there's so many names in Onyx Storm that I was like, who the hell is Llewellyn?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Okay. Danielle.
We're not talking about the next book yet. One at a time. And this is a two-parter, people.
Yes, this is a two-parter.
Oh, yes.
Because we just have so much to say about everybody. All right. So Violet Soaring is a new conscript at Basgiath War College who's being forced by her mother to join the Riders Quadrant, where she will train to become an elite dragon rider as long as she survives the challenges. Growing up, Violet was training to be a scribe like her father, but her mother insists otherwise. Violet's mother is General Soaring, high-ranking officer in the Kingdom of Devar. Violet's older sister, Mira, is also a dragon rider. She warns her to stay away from Xaden Ryerson, whose father, Fen Ryerson, was executed by their mother a few years back for leading a rebellion. It's likely that he'll want her dead for revenge. The children of the rebellion leaders were marked with a rebellion tattoo and were forced to become dragon riders. So right off the bat, we got a lot going on here, okay? We got all these kids whose parents were executed in front of them, okay? A little much there. And then they're tattooed and said, hey, you must do this or die, and then you may die anyway.
Aren't they tattooed by Dragonfire, right?
I don't know if it's Dragonfire, but I think it has like it's almost like a relic in itself because
Yeah, they call it a relic, right?
Yeah.
They called them marked ones. Yeah.
Yeah.
What are the tattoos?
I'm looking that up while you keep going. Dave.
Okay. I was going to look it up, but you got it. Okay. But yeah, that's a lot going on right there. Because becoming a dragon rider, as we're about to find out, is pretty fucking intense. All right, so Violet and Mir's older brother, Brennan, died fighting against the rebellion forces, and he was a healer. So that was his signet. We will get into that. Everybody, once you become a dragon rider, gets a signet of power from your dragons. Enter the rider's quadrant. You must first cross the narrow and dangerous parapet. So the parapet, if you ever look up images of this, because in my brain, I was just like, this is absolutely terrifying. Just looking at it, I would never do. This tiny, narrow pathway, a little bit bigger than like the width of you, I'm imagining. And you have to walk, plummeting sides next to you, right? So you have to walk across, and windy conditions, whatever, slippery, if it's raining, they don't care. You just got to walk across and make it to the other side. And if you survive, awesome. If you don't, well, you're dead and bye. See you later. So right off the bat, we're starting off not easy to become a rider.
Which is crazy. Like, I don't think I would ever choose
never
to do, like, as cool as it would to have a dragon. No, I'm sorry. I'm going to the scribe unit.
Right. That's what cracks me up. Like, she was a very good scribe, and her father, who she admires, was a beautiful, wonderful scribe. And she's just like, no, give me a rider. And I don't know if we say it later, but she is riddled with health problems.
I know.
Her body is broken, weak. So for her to do all these challenges is a challenge in itself. So, all right, most first years die before they even arrive. Around 15% die. The parapet is a test to see how well a cadet will be able to balance to ride dragons. So, I mean, I get it, but also, can you do it without them dying? Maybe.
I know, right? Like maybe a net.
Right? Like, catch you. Okay, you're eliminated.
Yeah, right. But you're not dead. You're just...
It's almost like Squid Games.
Yeah, you're not eliminated from life, just the writer's quadrant.
Right? Like, why can't you go on to have a different job? Like, you're not a rider anymore, but you could have a different job.
Right.
All right. So as Violet starts to cross, she sees Jack Barlow, this motherfucker, throw another candidate. And before they even get onto the parapet, he's like already taunting and being a dick, a show off, whatever. But he throws off another candidate off the parapet and then charges at her. And she spins around and holds a dagger to stop him. And she tells him he is not allowed to kill her since other riders are present and it's against the rules. Because she's super awesome. And because she's a scribe, she knows all the rules to everything. So that saves her a lot.
Okay, hold on. I'm going to interject.
Go ahead.
Found out. Okay. So, the relics were created by Kodag, I think that
Kodak.
Yeah.
The dragon of General Melgren. The dragon marked the offspring of those involved in the rebellion.
You're right.
Distinctive patterns. This act served dual purposes. It was both a punitive measure and a method of identifying those with direct ties to the rebellion. So
how did that
dragon
even do that without like burning them? Like, how did it delicately burn them?
So I remember that Xaden said that his dad made them hold the rune stones.
Oh, yeah.
Protect them. So I guess like every tribe.
Oh, that's right.
That's in another book, though. That's in Iron Flame.
Is it?
Oh.
Yes.
I thought it was in Fourth Wing. Whoops.
Sorry. Spoiler.
But is it really a spoiler? I mean, we find out a little bit more.
It's just
because the runes are important in Iron Flame, but
yeah, that's true.
But basically, the line that I looked up, it said that when Violet asked Xaden how he got it, he said when Melgren's dragon tried to kill them with fire. He was holding the stone, and all he felt was like the burn on his skin of the relic being formed.
Oh, oh,
That's so sad.
that
Mhm.
is sad.
All because you're his kid.
Right.
Mhm.
How terrible. And I mean, thankfully, they're pretty badass. So when they joined the Riders Quadrant, they didn't fail. But...
Well, they're not even joining. They were all marked
right.
ones are forced to join.
Right.
Okay, sorry, I interrupted.
No, it's okay. So Violet manages to survive and make a friend in the process, Rhiannon. Violet traded her left boot with her because she saw that she was not wearing rider's boots on the parapet walk. So she needed to grip it better, and she sacrificed a shoe. That's so sweet.
I know.
Right? I mean, well, that's a dangerous thing to cross, and then you're going there
Absolutely.
And then
one
wasn't
good
it like a storm happening at the time?
Yes,
like the
'cause her
winds were
mother's
really
a-
high.
because her mother's an asshole
You
and did
Mhm.
not
on purpose.
stop the weather when her daughter's crossing the parapet.
Yeah, her mother.
And she has the
mother-
power to do
Yeah.
so.
100%. Hey, mom, move this storm over. Thanks. Love you.
Yeah. Do you think that she created the storm to give?
Yeah,
Violet
because she
that
says
challenge?
later when she's reflecting on parapet that her mother could have easily changed the storm and that she purposely had the storm to make her stronger during
like it.
parapet.
Not nice.
No,
Mm-mm.
awful. Terrible. All right, so then once she crosses, yay, she gets across. She finds Dane Atos, a childhood friend in second year, and Dane's father is her mother's trusted advisor. So Dane tries to convince Violet to go to the squad quadrant because, you know, he wants to keep her safe and he knows she's weak because they grew up together. He thinks she's weak. We know that she is not, but she pushes back. So we see that relationship forming where he's trying to be the protector and she's just like, buddy, I'm strong. I'm badass.
I can do this.
Right?
I got
So Violet and Rhiannon join Dane's squad. The Riders Quadrant is divided into 4 wings, and Xaden, third year, is the wing leader of fourth wing. And Xaden moves Dane's squad to his sections. Reasons to come. I wrote that there to remind me later to bring that up. So remind me later if I don't remember to bring it up.
Okay.
All right. Violet and the cadets take classes in battle strategy and discuss recent attacks on their borders. So it's like a college. They're really like learning and studying how to defend the land. Violet knows from library duty that there are also attacks that they are not being told about in the nearby kingdom of. Now, is it because I can't remember how they said it in the audio? Is it Poromiel?
Hormiel.
Yeah.
I'm doing the audio too right now, and they say it a lot.
Yeah, right.
I'm literally doing both at the same time.
So it's a tricky word because every time I try to look it up for the pronunciation, it brought me to TikTok and I deleted TikTok. So now I can't look it up.
Yeah.
All right. Well, anyway, has ramped up their invasion attempts and are sending out Griffin flyers to raid their supplies. So Violet has never had combat training, and Rhiannon agrees to help train her if she helps Rhiannon with history classes. Got like a cute little friendship here. I'll train you, you train me. During the sparring sessions, Jack Barlow, the stupid guy again from Parapet, breaks the neck of a first year and kills him. Now, this is where it didn't bother me so much in Fourth Wing, but it did bother me in Iron Flame. They're just killing people left and right during training. Like, this should not be okay. Like, stop and break them down and then say, okay, you're eliminated. Because you need an army. You need an army. You need these people to be riders for a reason. So now you're just losing. But Violet goes up against a girl with pink hair named Imogen who breaks her arm and dislocates her shoulder, which, as you will see later, she dislocates her shoulder like every other day.
Her knees.
Always her knee locking in and out, her shoulders popping in and
Her
out.
knees like the most fucked of them all, I think.
Yes.
And then can you imagine riding a dragon with like I mean, I get out of bed. I just twisted my arm the other day. You're just like, ouch. She is riddled with problems and she has to ride a dragon for hours. I don't know. Just aching.
And fight other cadets.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. So she's dislocating her shoulder, and Imogen's mom was one of Fenroyson's separatists. So also she is one of the marked ones.
A rebellion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dane takes her to the healers. this was fun to learn. Like in the beginning, like, oh, there's healers, so they literally like magically heal you from your wounds.
Mhm.
Yeah, there's what there's scribes, healers, riders, and infantry.
Yeah.
I think
Yes.
infantry is like on the ground
The
combat.
ground.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, because there's some like stuff later on with them, right?
Yes, yes, yes,
Iron
yes.
Flame people, yeah.
There we go.
Mhm.
There you go.
I know we're referencing it a lot, but all right. But tries to get Violet to change her mind. Enjoyed the scribe. I'm like, why can't I have say these two words together the whole night?
Why the
Scribe quadrant, and as a late admission, but she refuses again. So shut it up, Dane.
shut up, Dane.
Later that night, Violet returns to the barracks in a sling, and Mira left her brother's journal, which she calls the Book of Brennan, which is super cute because they always have like little tidbits of like,
I really like that.
it was really sweet. And then when you listen to the audio, it's like in his voice, which is really nice. One night, she wanders out to gather berries and she climbs a tree, but she is interrupted by Xaden, Imogen, and other first years. Xaden's been leading meetings with other marked children, and a meeting of 3 or more marked ones is illegal. She sees that he's giving the younger ones advice on getting through the training and challenges. When the coast is clear, Violet sneaks out of the tree, but Xaden is waiting for her and surprises her. Xaden's signet is a shadow wielder, and he can use his shadows to disorient and manipulate things. But surprisingly, he doesn't try to kill her, which is funny because Mira said in the beginning, watch out for him. And he has every reason to kill her. But
I think she even questions him at this point, like, why don't you just do it already? And he's like, he says something like, what's the fun in that, right? Or
yeah. He was like taunting her, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's more fun to see you on the mat or something like that, he said, right?
I mean, and at this point, I was like, he's totally not going to kill her. They're totally going to fall in love. Like, this is not happening. I already knew it. I'm like, they're mates. Like, from
mates. All right, so in class, Violet learns that the wards are faltering more and more, meaning that either Navarre is weakening or their enemies are getting stronger. But they also discuss the different dragon types. Xaden's dragon, Sigale, is a blue dagger tail, and she does whatever she wants, and her previous rider was a relative of Xaden. And we'll get into the more of that probably in the next book. I don't know. Or part 2. Maybe part 2 we talk about it. Black dragons are the rarest and most intelligent of dragons, and there are only 2 black dragons in existence. One belongs to General Melgren, an asshole, and the other has refused to bond since his previous and only rider was killed during an uprising. So his previous rider, Naylan, I think that's how you said it.
Naylan
Had a siphoning signet. So when you siphon, you take the powers out of someone else, which meant he could absorb powers, and then he used it to redistribute. But he tried to use his siphoning power to resurrect someone, but killed himself in the process of doing it. And the person he was trying to resurrect was Brennan. Poor Brennan. That was so. When I read that chapter, I was just like, "Oh, that's like," because Violet's in the class where they're talking about the dragons and they're learning about them, and she goes, "It was my brother, right?" And they're like, "Yeah, it was." It's so sad because she was young because at this point he's been gone for 6 years. So she's what did we say? She's 20.
Yeah, you're 20 when you enter the.
Yeah, so that was young when he passed away.
And I think one part that we didn't kind of touch on was the whole wards thing. Like the wards is what kind of holds together the magic within the realm, right? Or like their what is it, like not continent, but
it's like
area.
It's like their protective barrier from the outside, nation that they're been at war with Pormeal for like what did it say?
600 years?
Centuries? Yeah, centuries.
Yeah. So the wards kind of
because the wards went up like 600 years ago or something like that.
Yeah. And the wards also, I think, allowed the dragons to have the magic, or it has something to do with, right? They have more magic because of it.
All right. Go ahead, Jenna.
Okay. So Violet starts using her knowledge of foraging and herbs because she's like, I am a scrawny little weakling with a lot of fragile bones. I'm going to need to use my brain to help me beat these people on the mat during these sparring matches. So she starts poisoning her opponents. So they like get food poisoning or like come down with like a fever or throwing up like right before they have to spar, and like she's like automatically like the winner. Xaden figures this out, and one day when one of her opponents had to be taken to the healers before the match, Xaden stepped in to spar with her, which was so hot. Later, Dane and Violet get into an argument because Dane asked the scribe Markham if they would still take Violet to the quadrant. He's still trying. She's upset because she feels that Dane doesn't think she can cut it as a rider. She wants to prove herself. He's worried about what will happen at threshing. So the rider candidates have practice sessions going through the gauntlet, which sounds awful. It's an obstacle course designed to weed out the weaker riders before threshing because, if you're not the strongest, those dragons are going to burn you alive anyway at threshing. They're
Can
not
you
gonna
imagine?
choose you. They're just going to be like, you're done.
Like, if someone were to tell me all the steps to become a dragon rider, no, thank you. Parapet, gauntlet, then threshing. No.
No, thanks.
Like, even if I pass all those tests, threshing, I could still get burned alive because they don't like me.
Yeah.
So they will have practice sessions in the gauntlet before they are ranked by their final performance for the presentation. This is where the dragons find the riders worthy at threshing. The course is designed to mimic the challenges riders will face in battle. So, it makes sense. So during practice, Sawyer completes the course easily. Violet recites dragon facts as she goes through the course. So kind of like what she did in the parapet to calm her down. She's like reciting all her scribe training and all that. And Oriel, or I never said the name right. Aurelie falls to her death, which was yikes, spikes.
That was so sad the way it happened.
Yeah. So a total of 20 candidates died during the gauntlet practice. Later,
which is like crazy because she's meeting all these people, and the next minute you're like, oh, why did I bother learning your name? You're gone. Well,
didn't Mira even said like, don't bother making friends? Her sister.
Yeah.
So later Violet sees Xaden and they talk briefly. She admits that she's too short to span the distance of one of the obstacles in the gauntlet. He tells her the right way to overcome the obstacle isn't the only way, which that line came full circle in Onyx Storm.
Hey, isn't that
not a spoiler, but
but also like this is the point where you kind of start seeing the difference between the way Dane treats her and the way Xaden doesn't give her any of these handicaps. Like he treats her like an equal.
Because when they sparred on the mat, he even was like, I know what you're doing. And here's how you're sparring wrong. Because look how easily I can disarm you. Protect this part, do this, do that. So yeah, he was like antagonizing her, but also teaching her at the same time.
Yeah, Dane's, putting on kid gloves with her.
Yeah, he's just like, maybe you should just leave.
Let's go home.
Yeah. Okay. So Violet struggles with the chimney obstacle that is meant to simulate the strength and agility it takes to mount a dragon. So presentation day arrives and Dane is upset with Violet shock for going through with the gauntlet and presentation after then taking his advice to join the scribes. She goes through the obstacle course and overcomes the chimney by using a rope to buoy herself to its surface. And I think like some people were like, that's cheating. Her last obstacle is a wooden ramp that juts out from a cliff wall. So she's too short for it, but she remembers how Xaden said the right way isn't the only way. So she jumps onto the ramp and uses her daggers to fling herself up the last foot to clear it, and she completes the gauntlet.
Yay! But then didn't someone question her and we're like, that's cheating? And then she's like,
it was that part. Sorry.
Yeah. And she's quoting the rules because she's awesome and she knows everything. And it's like, whatever you cross the parapet with, you're allowed to use.
Yeah. She's got like a photo.
Yeah. It's on your person.
Yeah.
So Amber from the third wing argues that she cheated. Violet accepts a 30-second penalty for using the ropes on the chimney, but she claims the knives she used did not constitute cheating because of a rule stating that once the rider carries something across the parapet, that item is considered part of their person, and therefore the knives are part of her person.
Yep.
So the dragons await the candidates. This was like the nail biter, right? They're like, what's going to happen? Who's going to burn alive by dragons?
And
So
everybody's being so chatty about like, I want that one, bitch. You
Yeah.
will get
I
what
want
you
the blue one.
yeah.
Yeah.
So cadets are instructed to talk to one another as they pass the dragons to help the dragons get a sense of who they are. They are advised to avoid eye contact. A small golden feather tail shows up at the end of the line. Luca points out that the dragon is too small to carry a rider into the battle and that its gold color is actually yellow. A cadet named Pryor is killed by one of the dragons. I think he just walked by the dragon and the dragon was like, boing.
Yeah,
Not you.
He was standing in front. Pryor was Pryor the one who's being a dick?
No, I think
No,
he was just
it's
nervous
Luca.
and chatty.
Luca was
Yeah.
the one being a dick.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if Pryor really deserved it.
Yeah, he was just walking, I think.
Yeah.
2 green dragons take an interest in Violet. They are drawn in by the scent of her dragon scale armor from Mira's dragon. Tine.
I heard them say
looked it up.
tiny.
It is. I looked it up. It's
Right?
tiny.
Oh.
Because they said it in the audio I was listening. I was like, tiny? Who's tiny?
Oh, I thought it
and then
was
I realized it was.
Tine.
I know, same.
It's tiny, which is funny.
Yeah,
So
it's kind of cute.
Yeah.
Luca is also killed because he's a jerk. Finally, it's threshing, which is the day when cadets will be taken to a field to approach and hopefully be selected by a dragon. The bond between a dragon and its rider is what makes someone a dragon rider. The bond gives the rider a minor magic powers and a signet power. So the signet is the stronger one, and you never know what you're going to get. The stronger the bond and the dragon, the stronger the signet powers will be. So the dragons start to arrive in the valley, and Violet climbs a tree to get a better view. Jack Barlow, the worst human to ever exist, Orin and Tynan show up and are planning to kill the golden feather tail, thinking it's weak and a liability to the safety of the other dragons and riders.
What makes them think as a first year that they could kill a dragon? Tiny or not?
Right.
Ridiculous. So she decides to warn the dragon of the guy's plans, but when she hops out of the tree, she hurts her ankle. Shock.
Surprise.
Of course.
It's
on her knee.
She finds the feather tail and warns it to leave, but the dragon doesn't listen, seemingly oblivious to the danger. The guys overhear Violet and go to confront her, but Xaden steps in, and then Segal is behind him. Segal. I can't say these names, guys. Segal is Xaden's dragon.
So I wanted to say real quick, because I don't know if we'll say it later, but there are less dragons willing to bond each year.
Oh, yes.
That's right. Yeah.
So there's more riders than dragons. And whose second time was it around? They didn't get bonded the first round?
You're right.
Was that an Iron Flame though, or was
no? In Fourth Wing, someone didn't
Wing?
bond, and so they were a second year but didn't bond, and then they bonded this time. I forget
Orin?
who it was.
I think it's Orin.
Oh, okay.
Orin.
I'll look it up. Keep going, Jenna. Sorry.
Okay. So Jack Barlow tells Xaden there's nothing he can do since a wing leader isn't supposed to intervene during threshing. So the guys attack Violet, but she starts fighting them off, which forces Jack to run away because he's a little bitch. She knocks Orin unconscious, and just as Tynan is about to attack her, a huge black, which if you remember is
Sawyer. Sorry, Sawyer. It was Sawyer.
Oh, Sawyer.
He repeated his first year.
I like Sawyer.
I know. I like Sawyer a lot.
So yeah, a huge black unbonded dragon, and remember there's only 2 of them in existence that we know about, shows up and tucks the golden dragon under his wing, and the dragon incinerates Tynan. The dragon starts speaking to Violet in her head, like mind speaking, and she realizes that the big badass black dragon is choosing her.
So it's so cool because that's the one that the rider tried to save her brother. So it's kind of like it was meant to be.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
Love it.
All right,
Dina, it's you, girl.
Okay, so he's choosing her, and he actually lends his leg, he bends down and makes his leg a ramp for her so she can mount him because he knows that she's going to have trouble getting on because she's smaller.
Yeah.
And this is something totally unexpected because it's not something that dragons would normally do. They're the alpha. You
don't
do what they
accommodate.
say, not the other way around. Yeah, they don't
Yeah.
accommodate humans.
Mm-hmm.
So that was kind of a shock right there. And then we find out that his name is, oh God.
Taryn.
Yeah, it's Taryn, but Taryn in
Oh, Taryn Knock.
his real name.
Tarn yeah. I heard an interview with Rebecca Yarros, and she said it not even remotely the way we say it. It's like Tarn or something like
Well,
that.
she can't.
Oh my
She can't
God.
possibly think we know how to say
It's like
that.
obviously very
know.
Irish. and
I read that
Oh.
SJM uses a lot of her names are Gaelic inspired. So
Okay.
I wonder
Yeah,
what
yeah.
Rebecca Yarros does with these names.
Yeah.
We'll have to ask her when she's on the pod.
Yes, thank
Yeah,
you.
right.
Putting it into the universe.
Trying to
Yes.
see if I can get like a Google pronunciation.
But he also has like this long, like, leader of the da 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 and the great da da da. Like he has this long like title too that he like
Yeah.
tells her, and like she's just like, okay, yeah, I'm not gonna remember this. So anyway, she mounts and they fly away. When he does like a turn, she ends up falling off, but catches her in the free fall, which again, if you fall off, like, yeah, you're dead. He's not going to go for you. And in this case, he shocked everybody and he went and caught her. So obviously he finds there's something special about her because what is going on here?
Right. Super cute.
And then he tells her, she's wondering, like, why did you choose me of all people like me? What's so special? And he told her that he chose her because she saved the golden feather tail and that she's the smartest of her year. So they land in a field of the other newly bonded riders, and the golden feather tail is there waiting for them. And then she also starts speaking to Violet in her head and tells her name. Oh God. And Darnam, and Darna for short. And she also says that she wants to bond with her. So,
Double dragons.
exactly. 2 dragons. Isn't that from like, what is that from? Oh gosh. 2 dragons. Okay, anyways. So Jack ended up bonding. Jack. He bonded with an orange scorpion tail, and Rhiannon bonded with a green dagger tail. Dane finds Violet and heard the news that she bonded 2 dragons and tells her that she needs to choose Andarna because she's the safer option. So again, Dane, back off. Oh my
Right.
You guys
God.
want to hear? I found a Google
Oh,
pronunciation.
the pronunciation? Yes.
It's Scottish. So ready?
Oh, there you go. What? That's
Tagna.
Taryn's full name?
Tagna.
That's so nuts. All right. Well, see, there you go. SJM and Rebecca Yarros, they like the
Scottish
the
and
Scottish and the Irish.
All right, there you
So
go.
it's Taryn and Andarna.
Yeah. Yep.
The Texas twang here. No.
There we go. I like it.
Taryn.
So there's never been an instance where 2 dragons are bonding with 1 rider. But the Imperium meets, which the Imperium is the like dragon committee, right? Like
Yes.
their royalty thing. Okay. And they meet and they decide that it is permissible, so that the humans have no choice but to accept it.
Great.
Of course,
Dragon picks you.
yeah, of course, they're like, no, this is not fair. That's not right. They can't do it. But too bad. It's happening.
Too bad.
Violet ends up learning that Taryn is Sigale's mate. I told you there was a mate.
Oh, you did.
The mated pairs can't be separated for long or their health diminishes. So they're always stationed together. So basically, if Violet is bonded to Taryn, then she and Xaden's fate are also tethered together, because if a dragon dies, then so will its rider. Not necessarily the other way around, though. But basically, Xaden has to help keep Violet alive.
For his own life.
Yeah, otherwise his own life is forfeited. So this whole time, she's thinking he's going to kill her at any minute, and now the tables have turned. He has to keep her alive. So
can you imagine, like, at this point, he's like, I'm fucking shackled to this weakling? Like, I was helping her just for her sake, and now
I'm really stuck.
Yeah.
Crazy. So then, of course, here comes Dane accusing Xaden of manipulating the results. And Xaden tells Dane that he would have done the same thing. But then Dane says no, that he would have followed the rules. And that totally disappoints Violet, because she's like, I'm your oldest friend here and you wouldn't even manipulate the rules for me. Like, that sucks.
She was gutted by that.
Yeah.
I know.
Because did he kiss her right after threshing?
Yes. So
Did we
then he
skip
goes and he
yeah.
kisses her
In the
and
field. Yeah.
yeah, like after this whole thing, like of course she's gonna react the way I mean,
Yeah.
she wanted it for so long because she always kind of had a thing for him, but then he goes and he does that, and then he kisses her and she feels nothing for him.
Yeah, she's kind of like, oh, this is
Which-
like an awkward brother kiss.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
When's this gonna be over?
Yeah. She realizes that he was trying to protect her, but he never like actually believed in her and encouraged her, and she's starting to realize that too. So good for her. Good for you, Violet.
And he's not willing to put her first above like his daddy's rules, you know? Like,
Right.
which is
Exactly.
The
unattractive.
rules of the quadrant. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Unattractive quality.
No. Daddy issues.
So then the next morning, Imogen and Quinn, which are part of Xaden's like that crew, end up joining Rhiannon and Violet for breakfast, and they're kind of like, "What is going on? Like, why are you sitting with me?" But Taryn tells Violet that she can trust them, right? Because he's talking to her in her head. And then Imogen ends up offering to help Violet with her sparring. And I think at this point, Rhiannon was kind of like upset, like, I'm helping her with the sparring. And Imogen's like, no, I got it. I'm going to help Violet going forward from here. So they kind of just start sparring together. Violet also has to start practicing flying with Taryn, but not with Andarna because Andarna, since she's still like a juvenile, she can't bear Violet's weight yet. And even at that, Violet keeps falling off of Taryn. So like it's like a whole struggle thing. Which was frustrating. I remember reading this and being like, oh my God,
Like,
just stay on, just
way.
do it. Yeah, exactly. Like you're strong, you can do it, and you keep falling off. Oh my God.
I can imagine I would fall off a dragon too.
Oh, absolutely.
The biggest dragon out there.
I don't know how they stay on. And they like ride these dragons for miles and
yeah, they like holding
hours.
on to their scales. Like, what is happening?
So, I mean, like, are the scales kind of like lifted a little too? Or are we talking like hair scales where like there's spikes in the back? Like, what are they holding on to?
Well, some of them do have spikes.
Right.
They mention it.
Why can't there just be a saddle?
Right. Like, why can't they all like have, a seat like a horse?
Mm-hmm.
Dragons don't answer to humans.
Yeah. There's no way they're going to do that.
No.
Except. Moving on. So,
or do they?
Yeah. Dun, dun, dun. So Violet ends up visiting the archives and she meets her old friend there named Jacinia, and she happens to be deaf. So a lot of the communication is done through sign language, which I think is like super cool.
I love that.
Mm-hmm.
Right. She asks her to find a book. It's a folklore collection that Violet's dad used to share with her when she was younger. And I think it's because she started getting interested in the wyverns. There was something that came up earlier in their studies, and I don't remember exactly what it was at this point, but I know that she started she wanted to get that book because she wanted a little bit more information on it. Like had like all these folklore creatures from
she's very inquisitive,
mythical. Yeah. So basically she can't find it. Justine can't find it, but I think she's going to keep looking anyways. So some of the group had started developing their signets, and Sawyer is one of the first ones to develop it, and he's a metallurgist, which means that he can manipulate metal. So that's pretty cool. Mm-hmm. Good for Sawyer, being that this was his second time around, and he got his dragon and he got his signet. I think they have like so many months to develop their signet too. Mm-hmm. Like if they don't do it within like a year, then
I think it's shorter than that. I think it's a couple months. The power like burns them alive from inside.
Right, because they can't release it or something.
Yeah.
Really so they're kind of on a time crunch here. So it's getting exciting.
No, so then 6 months.
6 months? I wanted to say 9, but okay, so it's 6.
Oh, there you go.
So one night, a group of unbonded cadets end up attacking Violet because they don't have a dragon and she has the biggest and best dragon, and they want that dragon because who wouldn't? He's grumpy and he's awesome.
Grumpy.
I love a grumpy pet.
I know he is.
Let me just tell you, he is so grumpy and I love him. And side note on the Bewitched series that I was reading with Laura Thalassia,
Her.
Thalassa.
The last.
There's a grumpy pet in that, and I absolutely love that pet as well.
Love
Yeah.
that.
So just in case you like grumpy pets like me, that's another book.
I do.
There you go. So basically they're coming to attack her because if they kill her, then that leaves her dragon up for grabs, and they basically want to get the respect of the dragon, and hopefully they can take over. Violet, our girl, she ends up surviving, but this time it's with the help of Andarna. Super cool. She helps her freeze time.
Dragon.
That's the golden
that
dragon.
was so cool that she could freeze time.
That was
So
awesome.
basically, like the whole room freezes. Xaden knows something's going on, and he storms in the room before anyone else. And then the time picks up. Like, what a cool scene, right? And then he starts like slashing them all, and kills them all.
Like the shadow part is so cool because he could hit somebody, and then his shadows can go and then attack the other people. That's
We
pretty
love it.
badass.
We love
That's
a
such
shadow
a cool
daddy.
signet.
We love a shadow daddy.
Yeah. And then I think his shadows end up like choking the attackers too. So
So
that's
good.
pretty cool.
So good.
So then we find out a little bit more about Andarna. So she's a juvenile dragon, but she's also an orphan. How sad. And Taryn and Seagal. Oh my God, Jenna.
I'm sorry, I said it wrong, and now I ruined it.
No,
The Gale.
It's kind of like, okay, side note, at the pharmacy, like sometimes people come in and they say pronounce drugs the wrong way, and then you start pronouncing the drugs that way, and you're like, damn it, I know it's not pronounced that way, and now I have to say it that way. So it's kind of like that, but not Seagal, not Steven Seagal, it's Seagal.
Not Steven Seagal.
I'm sorry.
So Taryn and Seagal, they basically took Andarna under their wing, right? And they're like her foster parents.
So cute.
So cute. So they're raising her, but okay. So when you have a juvenile dragon, they have powers, and her power is to stop time, which she basically gave to Violet. But in doing so, it's not necessarily a signet. It's just a power that they have, and eventually it'll go away. But it's supposed to like zap so much from the juvenile dragon, which if you take too much, then can end up killing him. So because of this thing, they don't want that secret to get out. So Xaden also knows. So Xaden and Violet, and then of course the dragons decide to keep that a secret from everybody else because they don't want, anyone. I mean, look at this. They're trying to attack her for Karen. So imagine what they would do with that.
And Darna like go into like a forever sleep.
No, that's later.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I mean, eventually it's going to go away. She does have to go into a sleep to become an adult dragon.
She is weakened here, and she is like resting a lot, and she
does have to sleep. That's right.
Okay. Yeah, but every juvenile dragon like goes
into
like,
it. It's called a dreamless, dreamless sleep.
Yes.
To become an adult. Yeah. Okay.
So because this book is like so jam-packed with information and everything going on, like we have 5 pages of notes. We're going to make our own little intermission session here. And we can segue to anything we want to deep dive on so far. If we want to go into our listener engagement, we can do that. And then next episode, we can pick up.
We have a lot of listener engagement polls that we did for the Fourth Wing series. But Danielle, do you have any deep dive discussions before I pull them up?
Not right now here. Other than, at this point, I was just like, oh shit. Okay. So everybody's really trying to kill her, and she's really got to like rise above this and work with Xaden because they're both being sassy to each other. So I'm like, how's this gonna work out? Like he was so sassy to her, and she's just giving it right back. I loved it, but her mom
was a fan of Violet here.
Yeah, and her mom is just like doesn't care. MIA hasn't acknowledged her, and it's just like she's I don't know, really learning on her own, which is interesting.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of hard to like deep dive into things right now since we're kind of in the middle and we don't want to necessarily do spoilers, but
yeah.
Hopefully at the end of the next one we can have some.
I think at the end of the next one, especially with the certain character point of views, it'll definitely be a nice little deep dive discussion.
But this book was so good, like it was like nonstop. I loved everything about it. Like at this point, there wasn't like a boring chapter. You're just like, okay, let me keep going. Let me keep going. So,
Yeah.
Right. And Jenna, this was the first book that you read to get you into fantasy, right?
This was my gateway drug.
There you go.
And it was because it was like free on like graphic audio on Audible like that week a year ago. And what a year it's been, you know?
It's so
It's a
funny,
wild ride.
right? Because it's good because
I have one.
ACOTAR is very heavy in a lot of fae and a lot of everything, creatures, and this is tamer, I would say, in the sense that like they're humans. I mean, but they get like powers. So like it's definitely a good entrance into the romantasy genre.
Guys.
And it's very like war heavy too. Like I feel like there's a lot of war talk.
Yeah.
So that sometimes that kind of like, I don't understand what's going on, but it's still good.
According to my Goodreads, I finished this book on May 3rd, 2024. So it hasn't even been a full year.
Wow. And how many books have you read since?
How many fantasy books have I read?
Yeah.
Like,
oh gosh.
like 50 since then. Like who the hell knows?
Who the hell knows?
Yeah. This was my gateway drug. Like for real.
I love that.
It's like, what is that math? 9 months later?
That would be, you had a baby.
Oh my God.
You had a fantasy baby.
It's called romantasy.
It's called Sips with the Suriel. That's what it's called.
Oh, can you believe? Can you believe in that 9-month period of me being obsessed and then forcing both of you, I was like, someone else needs to go down this sick obsession I have with me.
Well, because we both said we were going to read ACOTAR, and then you went and read this first, and then I read the first ACOTAR book in May.
Because I was like, ACOTAR sounds weird. What did I know? I was like, let me start with this cool dragon war stuff first. And I was like, oh, that's cool. Okay. And Iron Flame wasn't out yet. I was like, okay. And then let me hop over to Court of Thorns and Roses. And I was like, what's happening? This is amazing.
Yeah.
That's so funny because this is totally like not my genre. Like I was all about thrillers, psychological thrillers, mysteries. Like, yes, give me all of that. And then Jen is like, hey, I'm like, nah, it's okay, I'm good.
And I was like, girl, trust me. I made fun of fantasy books all the time. I was the same. I was just like, nope, thrillers, mysteries, historical fiction only.
Yeah.
And I tried. And then here we are.
Yep.
Thank God. Thank God.
Thank God. Okay, so if we go into our listener engagement poll that we put on before every episode, we do a poll based on the books that we're reading for our Instagram followers. We asked a couple questions. So question number 1 was, what signet would you like if you could choose? And a lot of people said teleportation, aka distance walking is what they call it.
Mm-hmm.
We've got a lot of that. We got shadows, so a Xaden shadow daddy. Someone said intrinsic.
No.
Oh.
Or someone else said a fire wielder.
I like Rhiannon's. We didn't talk about it yet because we're not there yet, but should I? No, I'm not going to say it then.
Is she like telekinesis or something?
Yeah, she's a summoner.
Summoner, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Which is the one? Is it Quinn that she has? Is it Quinn?
No,
that
Quinn
has,
is
like,
with Imogen, right? Oh,
is that the one where she can like project herself? Like she can make herself in two places?
Imogen is a mind eraser. She can erase memories,
Quinn is the one who does.
Terrifying. I think that's cool.
Gareth's, someone said Gareth's signet, which is time walking. More distance walking, teleportation. Okay, and then our other question was, what color dragon would you want if you were a rider? So
I had asked Matt, and he said black.
Of course not.
Yeah.
So,
not knowing anything about the book, I was just like, "What color dragon do you want?" Black.
Not.
I didn't say they're always the biggest. Yeah, right.
Most powerful dragon.
I have one in the backyard. What one do you want?
I got some dragon eggs here.
So you can only like put 4 choices at a time. So I had to split them up. So the first one was between brown, black, orange, and green. 70% said black, 7% said orange, and 23% said green. Aren't orange ones bad?
I was going to say, spoiler alert, but the orange are evil.
Yeah.
And then the other one was golden, red, or blue. No one chose red. 73% said golden, so baby
Of
and
course.
Darna.
Of
Mm-hmm.
course.
And 27 said blue.
Well, Sigale is blue.
True,
Mhm.
true.
She's scary.
She is.
Don't mess with her. You
No.
don't mess with
Mm-mm.
her. And then I did two more. So then there's been a lot of rumors about the TV show Fourth Wing happening, right? And there's a rumor that this sexy actor, Joshua Houston, I think his name is,
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
might be our Xaden in the movie or the TV series. I'm sorry, the TV series that who's doing it? Is it Netflix or Prime or?
It was
I don't-
Netflix. I don't know if it changed.
I don't know. Anyway, so because like they were rumored, and then if you go on his Instagram, he added a dragon emoji in his bio.
Oh.
A lot of people are like, he's too, he's not, big and bulky enough for it to be our
Yeah.
Xaden. And a lot of people are like, he's the perfect Bodhi because Bodhi is Xaden's cousin and has similar
Mhm.
coloring. Rebecca Yarros in an interview did confirm that the most important thing to her was that Xaden is a person of color, and that's how it should be in the series. So I love that. So I did a poll, said, do you think that he could be our Xaden? And it was close. 65, well, ish. 65% said yes, and 35% no. A lot of people kept saying, he's Bodhi, he's Bodhi, he's Bodhi, he's not Xaden.
Oh.
So anyway, maybe he is Bodhi and he just got casted first,
True.
Yeah. I
And then
mean, hope so.
we're obviously not going to say any spoilers because I'm not done Onyx Storm. Dina's not done.
No.
But I did put up a poll saying, are you savoring Onyx Storm, which is the third book in this fourth series, or are you speeding through like my crazy friends?
I know. I can't because you don't know. Like Jenna said, you don't know when the next one's going to come out. So why would you do that to yourself?
2027. It's 2 years.
It's crazy. I
I'm
can't.
going to forget everything by then.
Oh, yeah. Like, I just read Iron Flame, I don't know, a couple months ago, and I'm like, wait, what?
So
Wow.
74% said that they were savoring and 26% said they're speeding. I am savoring. I am only on chapter 11.
Mhm.
I'm
And it's
just
only been
worried
out
that they're
for a
going to,
week.
well, I'm just worried they're going to start putting spoilers. I'm starting to see
I
a lot
know.
more reels.
I know.
At least
But
the ones I've seen aren't spoiling anything, but
people
I
are being
relate to
nice
them.
and they'll put like a little spoiler
Oh, good.
alert coming and I'll just whoop, whoop, whoop.
Yeah.
Well,
Look like
yeah.
that.
I'm not even. Nope. I'm not looking at anything.
I do
Not
think a
in-
lot happened, though. So I'm kind of excited and very scared.
Yeah, my friend said that she was in tears and
I know. I read
needed-
her.
and needs to she said, I think I need to reread that because I'm so upset.
Oh,
That's
no.
awful.
She's
See,
like to process it.
like, I don't know, is she going to kill somebody I don't want her to kill, or is she going to kill a dragon? I'm very nervous she's going to kill a dragon.
The way
Very
Steph
nervous.
said it, I'm assuming it was Steph. I'm very, very scared and sad. I don't know who it's going
Right?
to be.
I think it's going to be a dragon and a person.
I don't want to talk about it. I can't
I
think
mean,
about it
technically,
because
if the dragon dies, the person dies. So yeah.
listen, each book has the two that I've read so far have been sad at the end.
Yeah.
I don't want to be sad again.
Right.
She
You're
did
right.
rip my
Not be
heart out
sad.
in the first one
Yes.
Totally. And the second.
and the second.
Girl knows how to make us cry.
Yeah.
So
It's
we
crazy.
gave Fourth Wing a 5 goblet rating, which if you don't
Totes.
know our rating scale, we do goblets instead of stars. And it's for like obvious reasons. We'll get into it more for part 2, but for now, just know that it is a 5 goblet.
Mhm.
And Dina's, this is my favorite segment. Hit it.
Okay, so on the nightstand segment, so this is a section where we just briefly discuss the book. Briefly, we just name some of the books that is on our TBR list or what we're reading right now. I mean, obviously, all three of us are reading Onyx Storm. We don't have to go into more of that. But girls, what are y'all reading? Or
Taking
what's on your
baby
TBR?
steps on Onyx Storm. I will finish Air of Fire hopefully in the
Yay.
next week or two. I need to finish it. It needs to move on. I need to get to the next one. But I did start on Audible Quicksilver. I know. Wait,
You
Dina,
did
did
not
you read
tell
that?
me that.
I just hit it the other day. And I was still
Ooh.
reeling from Iron Flame. So then I had to pause it because I was like, I can't focus right now. Like, this is supposed to be such a hot read.
It is
And
a
I was
hot
like,
read.
still so like in my feelings. So like I had to pause it.
You couldn't
So I'm
move
not very
on.
far. I really couldn't. But yeah. Wait, Dina, did you read Quicksilver or no?
No, but I got
Okay.
it when Audible. We are partners with Audible, by the way.
Woo!
I did get it when they had their sale. So I don't know, it was like $5 or something.
So worth
Love
it.
it.
Because people who are Audible listeners, and if you liked Rasanne's voice in the graphic audio of the Akatar series, our man comes and he does Kingfisher's voice in Quicksilver, and it is so hot, so good. And so it's like dual narration in Quicksilver. It's
Yay.
female and a male voice, and it's so good. It's so good.
I'm excited.
Well, I'm excited too.
Yay. All right, go ahead, you guys.
Dina,
Jenna?
you go.
Oh, you want me to go?
Yeah.
What am I reading? Oh, I'm reading book 2 for J.E. Larson's The Trial of the Heart. Yeah. Super awesome. Love it. I'm a little bit over halfway done with it. So yeah.
Totally. I love that book so much.
It's so good. I didn't realize how much. I mean, I loved the first book, but I had put the second book aside because of other things that I was doing. So like getting back into it, I was like, oh my God, I love Daxton so much.
Daxton Asian. What a
yeah. Ice
yeah.
Daddy, right? This is
Ice Daddy.
Ice Daddy.
Not a Shadow Daddy, he's an Ice Daddy.
Do I have this book on my Goodreads? What's it called
so
again?
it's one of our ARC.
Oh, right. I do have it on there.
And we are interviewing her come March, I believe.
Yes.
And I can't wait because I'm obsessed with her books.
And she's so cool because like she'll talk to us too through Instagram. So I'm excited to have her on.
She lives in Alaska. How fun.
Yeah.
Alaska.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So I'm reading that. So I'm excited to finish that. And then I just finished the Bewitched series.
Wow.
I am a fan. I
How many
can't
are
wait
in
for
there?
that one is 2 out right now. She's going to release the third one, which I think is a prequel, and that comes out this July. And then I think it has at least one more book.
Gotcha.
So I'm also a fan of that series.
Love it.
But yeah, that's all right now.
So I had just finished book 2 in the Bargainer series of Sabik. I finished A Strange Hymn, which was glorious because it is Desmond's point of view. And if you do it on Audible, it's the guy's voices. I texted Dina. I was like, are you fucking kidding me with this accent this guy's doing right now? This is phenomenal. I was like on the treadmill at the gym and I pressed play and the guy's voice came on and I was like,
what?
Stop the treadmill, texted Dina. I was like, what is this amazingness? So,
all right. Got to listen to the audio then.
And it's short. So it was just like, lovely. And at the end of it, Danielle, I'm very sorry, but me and Dina discussed it. And I was like, at the end of that book, I was like, is Desmond Flynn my number 1 book boyfriend over Rand?
Yeah.
At the front door.
I want to say I reviewed on Goodreads that he rivals Rysand. Like it's very...
Which I didn't think was possible.
Yeah.
I did not think that was possible.
Oh, no.
But
I was almost scared to tell you that that's the way I felt.
So he's only in the third book?
No.
Oh, he's in all of them, but the Audible...
He's in all of them, but it's his point of view in the second book, which is...
okay. So you don't hear his voice in the...
No, the female does it.
Yeah.
But she does a cool accent.
Yeah, I actually really liked her doing his accent. Yeah. I was like,
I like her narration.
Nice.
Oh, okay. All right, because I have that. I have that downloaded, but
so this is all by Laura Thalassa, which I want to get her on the podcast so bad because her writing is hilarious. Like I'm reading The Emperor of Evening Stars, which is the third book in the Bargainer series, and her writing is just hilarious and her characters are so great. The female main character who, I'm always hard on, like, I actually like this one. Like, usually I have a hard time liking them and she's great. Yeah, I mean, I love it.
Okay.
So.
All right. I have it downloaded. So
Yes.
ready to read that one next.
What else? So yeah, Onyx Storm. I'm reading The Emperor of the Evening Stars, and that's it, guys. I'm really trying to
Hone in on
my
one.
brain can't focus on more than those two right now, just because Onyx Storm is such a beast, and I want to give it my full attention.
No, it deserves it.
It does.
Yeah, I know. I had 3 going at once. I had Onyx Storm as one of them, and I was like, I cannot. Like, I need to finish this other one so that I can just solely focus on Onyx Storm, because it's just,
it's a beast.
So odd for us.
I'm going to take my time. I'm not going to finish it for a while.
Yeah.
Because Lulu saw me reading Air Fire, and she goes, "Mommy, don't forget that special one you just bought." 'Cause she was at the Barnes and Noble. I was like, "I know," and I was like petting it.
That's so cute.
So pretty.
That's so funny. Oh my gosh. All right. What else? That's pretty much it for our segment here, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Stay tuned for part 2.
Next week is part 2.
Mm-hmm.
Part 2 of Fourth Wing. All right, Day.
All right. So make sure you guys follow us everywhere you listen, rate and review, please. Please follow us on Instagram at Sips with the Suriel, Suriel. Click our Linktree bio and follow us on Goodreads. We will also put our episodes each week on YouTube, so please subscribe and like. Same name, Sips with the Suriel. And follow Creative Little Pill for all of your podcast art and digital art needs. All right, friends. Have a lovely, lovely day and keep reading to whatever end.
Thanks, everybody. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.